When Elon Musk pulled into the Austin Tesla Supercharger station at 2 a.m., he never expected to find someone living there. But what he discovered in the shadows would challenge everything he thought he knew about sacrifice and service. The red Tesla Model S Plaid glided silently into the Austin Tesla Supercharger station, its headlights cutting through the Texas darkness. It was 2:17 a.m. on a humid September night, and Elon Musk was driving back from a late SpaceX meeting at the Starbase facility. The charging station, located just off Highway 183, was typically deserted at this hour, exactly why he preferred stopping here when he needed time to think. The drive from Boca Chica had been longer than usual due to construction delays, and Elon's mind was still processing the evening's discussions about the upcoming Mars mission timeline. His phone showed 17 missed calls from reporters, 12 text messages from board members, and 3 voicemails from his assistant about tomorrow's meetings. The weight of running multiple companies that were quite literally trying to change the world pressed heavily on his shoulders. Elon parked at charging station number 7 and stepped out, stretching his legs after the 3-hour drive. The familiar hum of the supercharger filled the quiet night air as he plugged in his vehicle. He pulled out his phone to check messages when something caught his attention, a sound that didn't belong. It was quiet talking, almost like a conversation, coming from somewhere behind the charging units. Elon paused, listening carefully. The voice was measured, respectful, and unmistakably American. But who would be here at this hour? The nearest 24-hour business was a gas station 5 miles down the highway, and this location was known for being isolated, one of the reasons Tesla had chosen it for testing new charging protocols. Curiosity getting the better of him, Elon walked toward the sound. As he rounded the corner of the charging station, he stopped in his tracks. There, in a small cleared area between 2 utility boxes, was a meticulously organized campsite. A military green tent was pitched with precision, surrounded by carefully arranged supplies. An American flag hung from a makeshift pole, and the entire area was cleaner than most hotel rooms. "Yes, sir, I understand the situation," the voice continued. "But with respect, that's not how we handled things in Kandahar. You don't leave a man behind regardless of the paperwork complications." Elon realized the man was on a phone call, likely with some kind of veterans services organization based on the conversation. He stood quietly, not wanting to intrude, but fascinated by what he was witnessing. The speaker emerged from the tent, a lean man in his mid-40s with salt and pepper hair cut in a precise military style. He wore clean jeans and a faded Marines t-shirt, and despite his obvious circumstances, he carried himself with unmistakable dignity. The man noticed Elon and quickly ended his call. "I'll have to call you back, Thompson. Something's come up." He slipped the phone into his pocket and straightened to attention. For a moment, they stared at each other across the 15 feet of pavement that separated them. "Evening, sir," the man said. "I apologize if I disturbed you. I'll move along if this is a problem." Elon raised his hands peacefully. "No problem at all. I'm just surprised. I didn't expect to find anyone here." The veteran's eyes narrowed slightly as recognition dawned. Even in the dim lighting of the charging station, Elon Musk's distinctive features were unmistakable. "You're Elon Musk!" "I am." "And you are?" "Staff Sergeant Marcus Washington, United States Marine Corps, retired." He extended his hand with the same confidence he might have shown to a commanding officer. Elon shook his hand, noting the firm grip and calloused palms that spoke of manual labor. "Marcus, what brings you to a Tesla charging station at 2 in the morning?" Marcus glanced back at his campsite, then met Elon's eyes directly. There was no shame in his expression, just honest assessment of his situation. "This is where I live, sir." The words hung in the humid Texas air. Elon felt his assumptions shifting, pieces of a puzzle he hadn't known existed suddenly rearranging themselves. This wasn't what homelessness looked like in his mind. This was military precision applied to an impossible situation. "How long have you been here?" Elon asked gently. 6 months, 2 weeks, and 3 days, Marcus replied with military precision. "I maintain the area in exchange for the location. Keep it clean, organize the cables, watch for vandalism, check the charging units for any technical issues and report them through your customer service app." Figured it was a fair trade. Elon looked around the charging station with new eyes. He had noticed over the past few months that this particular location was always immaculate. Cables perfectly coiled, no litter, charging posts wiped clean. The customer satisfaction ratings for this station were consistently higher than almost any other location in the Tesla network. He had assumed Tesla's maintenance crew was exceptionally thorough here, You've been maintaining this station? Marcus nodded. Seemed like the right thing to do. You provided the space, even if you didn't know it. I provided the service. Plus, I wanted to make sure the technology kept working properly. Your cars represent something important, Mr. Musk. Tell me about yourself, Marcus. How did you end up here? The veteran's posture relaxed slightly, but his voice remained steady. 2 tours in Afghanistan, decorated for service under fire, came home in 2019. Had some trouble adjusting. PTSD, they called it, though I prefer to think of it as a normal response to abnormal situations. Lost my job as a warehouse supervisor when I had a panic attack during a fire drill. Lost my apartment 3 months later when my savings ran out. Elon found himself genuinely interested in this man's story. What kind of work did you do in the Marines? Logistics coordinator for my unit. Supply chains, equipment maintenance, personnel management. I was responsible for keeping a 200-man unit supplied and operational in some of the most challenging conditions on Earth. When something broke, I fixed it. When supplies ran low, I found a way to get more. When morale dropped, I figured out how to bring it back up. And after the Marines? Marcus's expression grew slightly bitter. Civilian employers see veteran on a resume and they think either damaged goods or will probably quit to go back to the military. They don't see someone who knows how to solve problems under pressure or work as part of a team. They see someone who might be a liability. Why this charging station specifically? Marcus allowed himself a small smile. Your cars represent the future, Mr. Musk. Clean energy, innovation, progress. After spending years in a war zone fighting over oil resources, the idea of electric vehicles powered by the sun seemed like something worth being part of, even in a small way. Plus, Tesla drivers are generally decent people, respectful, environmentally conscious, forward-thinking. I've had hundreds of interactions with customers here, and only one person ever complained about my presence. What did you tell them? That I was providing unpaid security services and asked them to have a nice day. Marcus grinned. They left pretty quickly after that. Elon found himself smiling despite the gravity of the situation. What about family? Marcus's expression tightened almost imperceptibly. Lost my wife Sarah in a car accident 3 years ago. She was hit by a drunk driver coming home from her nursing shift at Austin Regional. No kids. We were trying, but deployment schedules made it difficult. It's just me now. The charging station fell silent except for the gentle hum of the supercharger. Elon studied Marcus Washington. This man who had served his country, lost everything, and yet maintained his dignity while secretly caring for a piece of property that belonged to one of the richest men in the world. Marcus, can I ask you something? Of course, sir. Why didn't you ask for help? From veterans organizations, from the government, from anyone? Marcus straightened his shoulders. With respect, Mr. Musk, asking for help and accepting charity are 2 different things. I've been working. Odd jobs, day labor, security work when I can find it. I applied for veterans benefits, but the paperwork takes months and the system is overwhelmed. I'm not looking for a handout. I'm looking for an opportunity to earn my way back. But you've been living in a tent. Yes, sir. But it's a clean tent, organized according to military standards, and I've been contributing to society by maintaining this facility. I prevented 3 acts of vandalism, assisted 17 customers with charging problems, and maintained cleanliness standards that exceed most commercial establishments. That's not the same as giving up. Elon pulled out his phone and checked the time, 2:47 a.m. His Tesla would be fully charged in another 20 minutes, but he found himself not wanting to leave. There was something about Marcus Washington that reminded him of the engineers and technicians who had built SpaceX and Tesla from nothing. People who saw problems as challenges to be solved rather than obstacles to be avoided. Marcus, I have a question for you, and I want you to think carefully before answering. Yes, sir. If I offered you a job, a real job with Tesla, not charity, would you be interested? Marcus's eyes sharpened. What kind of job? We have a facility management position opening at our Austin Gigafactory. It involves overseeing maintenance operations, coordinating with multiple departments, ensuring facilities run smoothly. It requires attention to detail, organizational skills, and the ability to manage teams of technicians and contractors. The pay is $75,000 a year plus benefits, with opportunities for advancement based on performance. For the first time since they'd started talking, Marcus seemed genuinely surprised. Sir, you don't know anything about my work history beyond what I've told you. You haven't seen my references or my service record. I know you've been maintaining a Tesla Supercharger station for 6 months without being asked or paid. I know you've kept it cleaner than our paid maintenance crews keep other locations. I know the customer satisfaction ratings for this station have been consistently excellent. I know you're a decorated Marine who has survived multiple deployments and personal tragedy while maintaining your integrity and work ethic. That tells me everything I need to know about your character." Marcus was quiet for a long moment, processing the offer. When he spoke again, his voice carried a weight of experience. "Mr. Musk, I need to ask, is this because you feel sorry for me? Because I don't want a job that exists only because someone felt bad about my situation." "Marcus, in the past year I've had billion-dollar deals with major corporations fall through because the people involved couldn't maintain basic standards of reliability and integrity. I've fired facility managers who made 3 times what I'm offering you because they couldn't keep their teams organized or their facilities running efficiently. You've been secretly maintaining my property for 6 months, asking for nothing in return, simply because you believed it was the right thing to do. I'm not offering you charity. I'm offering you a job because I need people like you." The veteran nodded slowly. "In that case, sir, I accept." "Good. But I have conditions." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Sir, first, you start Monday. Second, we'll advance you enough to get an apartment and some proper work clothes. You'll pay it back from your salary over time, no interest. Third, you'll work with our HR department to ensure you're getting any veterans benefits you're entitled to. And we'll provide legal assistance if needed to expedite those claims. Fourth, you'll let me know if any of your Marine buddies are looking for work. I have a feeling the military produces the kind of people Tesla needs." For the first time that night, Marcus smiled genuinely. "Sir, those are conditions I can live with." Elon's phone buzzed with a notification that his Tesla was fully charged. He looked at the vehicle, then back at Marcus. "One more thing." "Yes, sir? Thank you." "For what, Mr. Musk?" "For reminding me what service actually looks like. For showing me that taking care of something because it's right, not because you're paid to do it, still exists in this world." As Elon unplugged his Tesla and prepared to drive away, Marcus called out to him. "Mr. Musk?" "Yes? Thank you for seeing me as more than just a homeless veteran." "Marcus, you were never homeless. You were between homes. There's a difference." 6 months later, Marcus Washington was Tesla's Gigafactory Austin Facility Manager of the Year. His maintenance team, composed primarily of military veterans he had personally recruited, maintained the highest efficiency ratings in Tesla's global network. The small American flag that had flown over his tent now flew in his office, a reminder that sometimes the most valuable discoveries happen in the most unexpected places. Under Marcus's leadership, the Austin Gigafactory achieved a 99.7% uptime rating, the highest in company history. His team's attention to detail and military-style coordination prevented 3 major equipment failures that could have cost Tesla millions in lost production. More importantly, Marcus had created a model for veteran employment that Tesla began implementing at facilities worldwide. The charging station on Highway 183 was eventually renamed the Washington Station in Marcus's honor, though he protested that he had simply done what any decent person would do. A small plaque now marks the spot where his tent once stood, reading, "Sometimes the most important meetings happen in the most unexpected places." And every time Elon drove past that charging station, he remembered the night he learned that true innovation isn't just about building better technology. It's about recognizing the extraordinary potential in ordinary people who refuse to give up. The story of Marcus Washington became legendary within Tesla, not as a tale of corporate charity, but as proof that sometimes the best hires are found in the most unlikely places. And Marcus never forgot that the most important conversation of his life happened at 2 a.m. in an empty parking lot with a billionaire who chose to see a person rather than a problem. Because in the end, that's what real leadership looks like. The ability to recognize value where others see only circumstances, and the wisdom to understand that everyone deserves a chance to earn their way back to dignity.